Dear respected brothers, sisters, and friends, I would like to express my profound gratitude for the righteous wisdom I have received from the teachers at great training organizations. This wisdom has helped me elevate my inner awareness, elevate my wisdom, and orient holistic human growth through seven forms of wealth, wisdom, mentalities. Vâng, xin chào tất cả các anh chị. Character, virtue, competencies, fishes, health, and material wealth. As a result, my life had become more peaceful, tolerant, grateful, simple, gentle, and trusting. I also deeply grateful to the teachers for guiding me to clearly understand good cause, favorable condition, and desirable outcome, to deeply comprehend human life, and to mature in perception, relationships, and professional competencies. My full name is Nguyễn Bình, and I'm currently living and working in Phú Giáo district, Bình Dương province. Previously, I was a secondary school English teacher with more than 21 years of experience. When facing with many undesirable outcomes in life, I constantly search for an answer to a profound inquiry: how can I truly have a peaceful and genuinely happy life? I have gone through many paths of learning, experience, and practice, but only when I approach the wisdom of elevating inner awareness and elevating wisdom did I truly realize life is not difficult. It is that I have not yet understood life correctly. It is not that I lack effort. It is that I have not yet stood in the right positions. Their lessons today's sharing is not to teach anyone anything. It is to illuminate our awareness together, so that each person can find the most suitable answer for themselves. I deeply gratitude. I deeply grateful to all of you who have accompanied me through 21 sessions, which is a journey of elevating inner awareness. This is a journey, the best of expanding inner awareness. Okay, I share the second camera right with me. The path of expanding inner awareness. The path of expanding expanding inner awareness.
Chào cô Vân.
Hello. Hello, Jama, Miss Jama. Okay.
Dạ, hello cô Bình, em xin phép nghe.
Yes. We have 21 days to truly enjoy the process of learning. Write with me, enjoy learning. Enjoy learning. 21 day, enjoy learning. Yes. This wisdom of humanity is pointed out by the wise is divided into three groups of knowledge. Three groups of knowledge. The first group is worldly view. Worldly view. Yes. The first group is worldly view. The second group is cosmological view. Cosmological view. And the third group is human life view. Human life view. As we study and grow up, schools, teachers, and society provide us with understanding about worldly views. As science continues to develop, human worldly view is banned, and we tend to pursue knowledge to create the worldly view. Thank you. Reasons and beliefs provide us with knowledge about cosmological view, human life view concerns about life itself, and the moral principles within human life. It gives the foundation, perspective of moral principle in life. From our perspective, learning to understand the inner self in order to create peace equally, learning the knowledge of a human view. To begin this journey, there is an image that I would like to share and interact with all of you. Yeah. Please draw a boat and the oarsman with me. Okay, draw a boat. and an old man yes, we write boat. Boat. Let's draw it first, then write a boat inside, write a note into the boat. If you write the word boat inside, people will immediately recognize that it's a boat. For example, we have a boat. We expect to move from A to B. Yes, from A to B. From A to B. There are two possible situations. The current water aligns with the boat. Yes, the current water aligns with the boat. Current water. Current water align with the boat. And all goes against the boat. Against. Against. If the current water aligns with the boat and there is a rower and an engine, the boat will simply reach its destination and move very fast. Even when the rower lets go of the oars or does not start the engine, the boat still has the ability to move toward point B. But if the current water goes against the boat, if there is no rower and no engines, the boat will not be able to reach its destination. If there is a rower and an engine, the boat can still strive to reach its destination. When the wise pointed out this image, we realize that most people in life have to struggle and work very hard to achieve what they want. Almost anyone who stops striving and stops improving will see their life begin to decline. So is it possible that we steer the boat of our life against the current water? Are we steering the boat of our life against the current water? Because if we let go, we turn to the starting point. The wise pointed out that if life is compared to a boat, then the current water represents the laws and principles. Laws and principles. The current water represents the laws and principles. If a person lives in alignment with the laws and principles, life becomes much simpler to achieve a desirable outcome. From that concept, we built a roadmap to elevate inner awareness and clarify the laws and principles that influence human life. So the first image I would like to share with all of you is this. When we live in alignment with the laws and principles, our life becomes simple in order to have a desirable outcome. This 21 days roadmap has no other keys work except transformation. We borrowed this law to support all of you with a roadmap, which is transformation within our consciousness. In other words, it's a roadmap for our inner transformation. This roadmap is designed with the expectation that is supposed to surround ourselves with a cocoon. How thick this cocoon it depends on each person, but on average, it has 6 layers. This cocoon is called limited awareness of human being. Simply put, limited awareness can begin with self-trivializations. Yes, right with me. Mhm. The first is self-trivialization. Self-trivialization. Self-trivializations. What does self-trivialization mean? It means we see ourselves as merely ordinary, even insignificant. We believe we cannot do this or that, and we set such limitations for ourselves. In the language of inner being, this person is experiencing limited awareness, specifically a self-awareness limitation. Self-awareness limitation. Self-awareness limitation. Almost everyone of us carries these limitations. And these limitations, as experts and wise men call play out, are barriers cocoon that surround and includes. We may also have other barriers such as fears of failure, fear of failure, fear of failure, fear of failure. Because of fears of failure, we do not dare to act. Whatever we do, we feel afraid. Fear of failure makes us step back from challenges. We avoid facing them and do not take actions. This is one of the awareness barriers that restrains our growth and our transformations. The first is phase of criticism and judgment. Criticism and judgment. Fear of criticism and judgment. Phase of criticism and judgment is also one of the barriers. In today's society, this barrier is insignificant, especially the phase of being criticized or judged by our loved ones. Lack of resources is another cocoon. Lack of resources. Lack of resources. Chào anh Bảo. Because of lack of resources, we do not initiate actions. We wait, and feeling unqualified weakens our ability to act. The feeling of lack of knowledge. Number 5 is lack of knowledge. Lack of knowledge. Lack of knowledge is also a barrier that surrounds us, and especially less of future visions. Future visions. Lack of future vision. is one of the greatest barriers when we do not know where our future is heading. Our capacity for action diminishes. And in order to have a chance, also called a transformation. Yes, transformation. Transformation. Lee imagines this a chicken edge. If it impacts from the outside, it becomes food. But if it is activated from the inside, it becomes life. Therefore, one of the first laws we apply throughout this entire journey is the laws of transformations. Yes, the laws of transformation. Instead of being forced by external impact, because as human beings, its suffering does not make us change. Then greater suffering will come and force us to change. And if greater suffering comes and we still do not change, then even greater suffering will come to force us to change. And if even greater suffering does not change us, then terrible suffering may come to make us change. And if terrible suffering still does not change the person, then loss may come to make that person change. So instead of waiting for loss before beginning to change, the wise men have pointed out to us change because of love. Change out of love. First, love yourself because of the conscious desire for transformations, because of the conscious desire for ultimate growth. We break through the barriers of perception. We remove them. Yes, we remove them. We remove them the inside out. The program is designed on the foundation that you recognize yourselves and elevate your awareness to transcend yourselves. In other words, it's about removing your self-awareness limitations. From there, we will experience a great transformation. This journey is a journey of transcending self-awareness limitation, removing these barriers. We will remove these barriers. This is a journey of removing barriers and a journey of eliminating our self-awareness limitations. Now imagine this image. A rocket preparing to launch into the sky, into the universe, with six changes surrounding it. The engines are fully ignited. We only need to cut those sections. What would happen? What would happen? If we cut those sections immediately, what happened? It will rise. It will source upwards. Human beings are the same. Many experts tried every possible way, and many people tried every possible way to change their life. But the expert gives us crucial realizations. We only need to remove our self-awareness limitations. Self-awareness limitations. When these limitations disappear, instantly our transformation becomes limitless. What happens when we have a vision of the future? What happens when we possess the knowledge and the conditions needed to do whatever we choose? When fears of criticism, fears of failure, fears of judgment disappear, and we transcend our self-awareness limitation, we develop without limits infinities. Knowing this, and guided by the wise and the adverse, we have designed a journey to elevate inner awareness and remove these self-awareness limitation. Yes. We remove self-awareness limitations. We align with the laws of transformations. We transform because of love, not because of suffering or loss. Please have one write this down so that we can remember we live according to the laws of transformation. One of the principles we apply through this journey, the journeys of transformation. Yes, a journey of transformation for you is the principle of light. Okay, we move the principle of light. Principle of light. Principle of light. One of the principles we apply throughout this journey is the principle of light. I invite you to explore the principle that we will apply throughout this journey for the transformation of themselves, of anyone here, and for the rest of our life, the principle of light. I would like you to draw a simple square or rectangle to represent a dark room. Yes. Draw a square or rectangle. Right, dark room. Dark room. We know that light and darkness are two opposing forces. When light appears, darkness disappears. When darkness is present, light is not visible because light and darkness are governed by the principle of duality as opposites. If we have dark room, but we expect it to become bright, there are two ways. The first is to remove all the darkness. Yes, remove darkness. Remove darkness. Remove darkness. If all darkness is removed, then in theory, the room becomes bright because light appears. The second way is to bring light in. Bring light in. Bring light in. According to the principle of light, we simply bring light in and the room becomes bright. This is much simpler than trying to removing the darkness. In reality, once light enters, darkness naturally disappears. Therefore, the simplest solution to brighten a dark room is to bring light in. This is the principle of light at the levels of a worldly view. But in human life view, do people truly live in alignment with the principle of light? We need to observe whether people today are living in harmony with this principle in human life. Now, we draw a house. Okay, we draw a house. The foundations of the house we write in the being. On the left here, we write house. And the right, we write relationship. Relationship. And the root, we write finance. Finance. The aspects of human life, when summarized, revolves around four main areas in the being: health, relationships, and finance. The wise point out that to master one's life, one only need to master in the being, health, relationship, and finance. When these 4 areas are mastering one's life becomes simple. This is very important knowledge that we need to grasp. Most people want to master a business or something external, but very few truly decide to master their own life and the core aspects of their human journeys. Vâng, xin chào cả nhà trên TikTok. According to the guidance of the wise, in being, physical health, relationships, and finance are the 4 core pillars of human life. If someone masters these 4, they can simply master their own life. The wise also pointed out that many life problems arise because they originate from inner being. When problems arise within, they rarely affect relationships. Okay. Affect relationship. When inner being is not at peace and is filled with anxious or suffering, it directly impacts relationships. When there is regretment and hostility within, it strongly affects physical health. Physical health. Yes. Inner being also has a profound impact on a person's financial life. However, this interaction is not once directional from inner being alone. If we take physical health as the foundation, how strongly influences inner being. A person who is unwell will find it difficult to have inner peace. Health also rarely affects relationship. Yes, because the ability to love and care require physical strength. Physical health also rarely impacts finance. When we have sufficient health and time, we are able to work, accumulate, and build financial stabilities. If we take relationships as the foundations, relationships as the foundation, they strongly influence inner being, human interactions can bring joy or suffering. Relationships also directly impact finance. Because economic opportunities arise from social interactions. Relationships also influence physical health. Yes. Influence physical health. Long-term studies show that the qualities of social relationships really determine health and happiness later in life. Emotional pain from broken relationships can be even more severe than physical pain. Chào Lý Thúy Hằng. Therefore, these four aspects constantly interact with one another. When one's area is properly mastered, the other aspect and elevated as well. And if we take finance as the pillar, you all know that finance really influences human relationships. We can connect affinities, create conditions to care for and love our family more. When we have economic conditions, it becomes similar for us to nurture our relationships. If we truly come from genuine love. In addition, good finance is a condition that allows us to live in a good environment for our physical health. Yes, physical health. We can have sufficient conditions for medical care. When finance is stable, the human inner being is also more at peace. During the recent COVID season, when finance was stable, people were also more at peace. When we have this kinds of interaction, the foundation coming from inner being, the pillar being physical health, relationships, and finance abode. Then with such interconnection, when a problem arises, it is related to all aspects. And in human life, these aspects are always occurring and interrelating with one another, making us feel that the problems of human life are happening across many different dimensions. And the way we as human beings face the problem is this, that we try to show them at once. When facing problem in human life, do we strive to resolve them? Do we usually duck that way? When problem arise in life, are we putting forth on our efforts to handle them? So even tells on you that by doing so, we are going against the principle that what do we think? Because the principle of life shows us that if a room is dark, we only need to bring light in, and the darkness will naturally disappear. But if we try to remove the darkness, in theory, it may seem possible, yet in reality, can we remove darkness by effort? If we try to take darkness out, does it work? No, it does not produce results. But that awareness belongs to the worldly will. At the levels of the worldly will, we immediately understand that darkness cannot be taken out only light can be dropped in. And even children can say so. However, in the aspects of human life view, if we consider life problems as representing darkness, then when we strive to remove darkness, it means we are striving to show problems, which means we are trying to take out the darkness. That's why darkness continued to fill human life over many years. When one darkness is removed, another darkness comes, and in this way, darkness remains present throughout a person's life. That is the past constantly solving problems. So, how on this journey can we live in alignment with this principle? How can we live in accordance with the principle of light? To do that, the wise one has guided us through another symbolic image. Okay, draw with me. When I draw this, you pay attention and remember this image for the rest of your life, because this is one of the most worthy images to reserve in a person's lifetime. Okay, draw the house, draw the same house, but it's bigger. The foundation draw in a being. In a being. The pillar on the left draw hell. And on the right, draw relationship. Relationships. On the right is finance. Finance. Inside the house, we draw a little bigger at once. Inside the house, draw a hexagons. Yes. Sorry. Okay. Below this hexagons, after drawing it, please connect it as to the house. At the lower center, we write the word wisdom. Yes, wisdom. wisdom. Here also the words mentality, 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 and character, character. Characters, virtue, virtues, competency, competencies, physical health, physical health, and material wealth. Material wealth. What is the meaning of this diagram? Instead of trying to solve problems in inner being, health, relationship, and finance, problems appear like darkness. Let us light the lamp. Be rich in wisdom, be rich in mentality, be rich in character, be rich in virtue, be rich in competency, be rich in physical health, and be rich in material wealth. When the light is turned on, problems in inner being, health, relationship, and finance gradually fades away. Instead of solving problem, let us become rich. This is called the seven holistic wealth. Seven holistic wealth. Okay. Seven holistic wealth. Seven holistic wealth. Seven holistic wealth. Wisdom, wisdom, mentality, mentality, character, virtue, virtue, wisdom, mentality, character, virtues, competency, competency, physical health, physical health, and material wealth. Wisdom, mentality, character, virtues, non-material, non-material. Competency, physical health, material wealth, and material. Material. I will deeply analyze the concepts. Why we have seven holistic world, and why a human must be rich is on seven to be defined as truly wealthy. Normally, a materially wealthy person is someone who has money and assets. In human life views, material wealth is defined as money, possession, everything valuable surrounding our assets. In worldly view, master is defined in the physical sense. If a person has much money and many assets, are they already defined as wealthy? Some people use money as the standard of wealth, and they would say that is rich. But if that person also has good physical health, they will begin to feel more complete. A person with many possessions but without health will hardly feel the meanings of life. But with material more become more meaningful, and the quality of enjoying life increases. However, there are people who inherit family wealth and the money comes to them not through their own competencies. Over time, when competency is lower than the material wealth they possess, that wealth will not be sustainable. Therefore, a person who wants lasting wealth and to become truly wealthy must also be rich in competencies. Yes, rich in competencies. Some parents say, if children surpass their parents, leaving money is unnecessary. If they are inferior, the money will eventually be lost. The implication of this statement is that competency determines the sustainability of material wealth. Gradually, people realize that besides material wealth, physical health, competencies, one must physical health, one must also have competencies to begin to become wealthy. Yes, material wealth, physical health, competencies to begin to become wealthy. Yet, some people have money, competencies, and physical health, but retain no value for society, and that wealth lacks meanings. Therefore, society began to value virtues, and character. Those who live with benevolence, varieties, righteousness, wisdom, and trustworthiness. When money is used to help people, money is used to help people and supply. Material wealth then become truly valuable. Over time, people realize that standing at the peak of success, yet feeling lonely is not true wealth. Feeling lonely is not true wealth. Thus, one must be rich in character to keep people beside them. However, even with everything, without a peaceful and grateful mentality, that wealth is still incomplete. Therefore, one must be rich in mentality to truly experience happiness. And ultimately, on dimensions of wealth, material wealth, physical health, competency, virtue, character, mentalities originate from wisdom. If a person wants to be truly wealthy, they must be rich in wisdom. Only then is wealth complete. Yes. Is a person truly rich in wisdom, rich in mentality, rich in character, rich in virtue, rich in competencies, rich in physical health, and rich in material wealth? Can we call that holistic wealth? Yes. We divide them into two groups. They are intangible factor and tangible factor within us. Wisdom, mentality, character, virtues are intangible factors, are non-material. Competency, physical health, material wealth are tangible factors that can be measured and seen. A truly wealthy person must be rich in both material and non-material. That is the true meaning of becoming wealthy. Instead of only focusing on solving life problems, let us orient ourselves toward holistic wealth. The 7 dimensions of holistic wealth are the lights that dispel the darkness of human problems. Specifically, They are wisdom, mentality, character, virtue, competencies, physical health, and material wealth. Therefore, from now on, we orient ourselves toward a holistic world instead of facing separate problems. We will clearly understand the two concepts of material and non-material. Yes, material and non-material. Material and non-material. Material. Non-material. Material and non-material. When we understand these two concepts, we will see why holistic world is necessary to illuminate every dimension of human life. Non-material can be transformed into material. Transform. We would like to explain these concepts through a very familiar example. Here's that one among us kept a memory for many years and still keep it until now. There are items that, if shown, would not be worth much in price, but in terms of emotional values and intangible meaning, it is deeply significant for us. So, materially, it does not hold much value, but materially, it carries great meaning. When we keep an object for its spiritual value, we have unconsciously non-materialized that concepts. That object. Yes. When we keep an object for its spiritual value, we have unconsciously non-materialized that object. That is why it holds great value in our awareness. In society, this principle is clearly applied. There are handbags, shoes, a car, right at tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. If we consider only the material cost, their production cost may not be that high. But when non-material elements such as brands, story, or limited edition are added, and the value rises significantly. That is the process in which material is infused with non-material meaning, causing its value to erode. A bundle of vegetable or a fruit, when traceable and accompanied by its story, will also be priced higher. Because non-material elements have been infused into the values of the raw product. Any material element has already been priced. But if someone knows how to infuse non-material elements into it, in other words, to non-materialize it, the values of products or service will rise significantly. If we understand this, then congratulations, because we have grasped a very important aspect. But in human life, we often overlook this. We raise our children to be healthy and educate them to grant competency and good physical health. Then they use their competencies and physical health to exchange for finances in society. If a person uses competencies and physical health to defy the world, they unconsciously neglect the non-material elements. The elements are wisdom, mentality, character, and virtues. If we turn our awareness that human value lies not only in material factors, but also in inner non-material elements, that value will be elevated. If a woman enriches her wisdom, mentality, character, virtues, along with foundational competencies and physical health, she can defy her world as developing a happy life and a harmonious marriage. The 21 days are a journey of non-materializing oneself. This is a journey to be rich in wisdom and rich in mentality. One's learning experience for a lifetime transformations. One's learning experience for a lifetime transformation. Darkness maybe exists for 1,000 years, yet when light appears, it disappears. When a person becomes rich in wisdom and rich in mentality, resentment is replaced by appreciation and gratitude. Anger is replaced by tolerance, and suffering is replaced by inner joy. Inner peace, okay? When the lamps of wisdom and mentality is lit, human life transforms immediately. Therefore, the expectation in this 21 session journeys is one's learning experience, a lifetime of transformation. This is the message I would like to send to all of you. In the 21 days, we are selected to undertake a journey of non-materializing the self. This is a journey of non-materializing the self. It's a journey for you to materialize wisdom, enrich wisdom, and enrich mentality throughout these 21 sessions. We will go as deep as possible to light two important lamps in our life, which are the lamp of wisdom and the lamps of mentality, and this is a special journey. It is one-time learning for lifelong transformation, and you write this sentence down on your paper. One-time learning for lifelong transformations. Because even if darkness lasts for 1,000 years, when light appears, darkness disappears. No matter how much suffering, resentment, anger, or lamb a person carries, when a person enriches mentality and enriches wisdom, all of those will be dissolved. Appreciation and gratitude erase blame, tolerance erases anger, and a person in peace can completely erase suffering. Therefore, if a person has lit the lamp of wisdom and mentality, then that person's life transforms instantly. This meditation in this 21 session journey, one time learning for life transformation, is the message that I send to all of you and will fulfill the words throughout these journeys. Somewhere in society, you may have enriched competencies and material wealth, but here we will complete you in wisdom, mentality, character, virtue, and physical health. This is a journey of holistic enrichment, one-time learning for lifelong transformations. That is the meaning of understanding the elements of non-materializing the self and non-materializing the self in order to elevate personal values in the eyes of others through the process of non-materializing the self. And what is the meaning of materializing the non-materialized? Non-material. For example, happiness. In your view, is happiness a material or non-material element? Happiness. A material or non-material element? Is a non-material element? Inner peace is a non-material element. Love is a non-material element. These non-material elements, some people have them, some people do not. Some people are seen as loving, some are seen as not loving. Some can feel happiness, but do not know how to transmit happiness to their children. Because it is invisible. Not everyone can perceive it because it is invisible. I give an example. For instance, someone working in the medical field, a doctor in traditional medicines. A traditional medicine doctor has the ability to feel the pure, to sense and know what illness a person has. They can look at the face and the person condition to partly assess their health. Through the face and through expression, they can partly determine a person's health condition. Why can someone trained in medicine understand illness without many visible actions? Regarding the inner dimensions of a human being, such as wisdom, mentality, character, and virtues, if we conduct a major inner examination and carefully analyze its aspect, we can develop a similar ability to predict inner imbalance. We can recognize our level of wisdoms, our mentality, our character, our virtue, and once we understand ourselves, we can also understand these qualities in many others. The journey ahead is about materializing the elements so that they become visible in your awareness. When that happens, we have officially completed the journeys of non-materialized the cells. Do you understand up to this point? Yes. When I ask whether you understand, it is not simply to ask if you understand, but I reconfirm your awareness before continuing. For example, if someone is carrying a mentality of resentment toward others or towards their family, I will not focus on to eliminate resentment. Instead, if you truly want and need, I will guide you to cultivate the energies of appreciation and gratitude. When appreciation and gratitude are present, resentment will naturally dissolve. If someone asks, how can I become more confident when I struggle with inferiority? They know the right way to remove inferiority, just as there is no direct way to remove arrogance. Instead, we cultivate humility. I do not remove suffering directly, but can help you cultivate inner peace. When light enters, what did it do? It dispelled darkness. Fortunately, we possess the formula to do that. The upcoming journey is one where we both non-materialize material elements and materialize non-material elements. We will fully apply the principle of life in our life. That is the meaning I want to convey throughout your human life journeys. If we do not yet have a clear direction for your life, then take holistic world as your foundation. If you do not have a specific direction for your children, then guide them toward holistic world. The word human life consists human meaning, person and life, meaning through and development. Therefore, aspects of human life relate to human growth and development. We can understand it simply in this way. A human life will refer to knowledge and understanding concerning human existence and development. If up to this point we had no clear direction for ourselves, then arriving at this moment is already a favorable conditions. Let us take holistic well as our foundations. If we are educating our children without any specific direction or clear vision for them, then we should take the 7 aspects of holistic wealth as the foundation for their development. This includes the 4 key aspects I had just shared. Beauty is part of physical health. Human relationships include material and family relationships. Finance include business and investment. Earlier, we understood the principle of light. So, how do we apply this principle of light in every aspect of life? For example, when a parent sees their child working very fast, they may feel that the child may fall. The inner tendency is to say, do not work so fast, do not run so fast, you might fall. Isn't that true? So, is that statement spoken in the direction of light? Is it aligned with the principle of light? No. Then what would it mean to speak in the direction of light? Which would mean saying, work more slowly to save, or slow down to be safe. Instead of focusing on falling, we focus on safety. So in daily life, when we speak, if we look at it from this perspective, do we notice that most of our words tend to carry the energies of darkness? Please reflect on this. Do we mostly speak in the direction of darkness? For example, if you do not study properly like this, you might end up begging in the future. But what do we truly want? We want our child to study well, right? In daily life, we are not mindful and do not understand the principle of light. Applying it in a general worldview is very simple. But in human life view, we tend to follow the direction of darkness instead. Over time, when we transform our mentality and enrich our vision, our language will naturally begin to move in the direction of light. Because at the work we speak carry the energies of our inner world. If the energy comes from appreciation and gratitude, from tolerance, from inner peace, then our language will naturally follow the right direction of light. When a person lights the lamps of wisdom and the lamps of mentality, their daily speak naturally begin to change, even without them realizing how the change happens. If you had attended many courses, have you noticed that your ways of speaking become different from before? When you are about to speak in the direction of darkness, suddenly your mentality shifts and changes the way you express yourselves. Do you notice the difference compared to before? That is because we have applied the principle applied in our life. We have understood a very important principle in life, the principle of light. Instead of solving problems in human life, let us pursue holistic goals. Instead of solving in human life, let's pursue holistic goals. Please write this down once more so we can conclude this part. That is the essence of the principle of light. Yes, I would like to ask for your permission to share one more principle. One more principle, which is the brain activation principle. The principle of brain activation principle. Principle of brain activation. We apply this principle to the aspects of human life. It is different from the scientific way of activating the brain. In science, there are many methods to activate the brain, but in the aspects of human life, we must apply this principle to activate those aspects. Please help me write down 3 concepts, 3 words. Lessons, 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 impression, 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 impressions, and realization. Realization. Yes. There are 3 concepts that, once understood, will accompany a person throughout the rest of their life. The first concept is the concept of lessons. In the RAND activation principle, a lesson is defined as something we learn that feels new compared to before. New. Lesson new. Impressions is what we are able to apply in the future, what we can apply in our life, and therefore we consider is an impressions. An impressions. Applicable. believable. Realizations is what we have pondered and inquired about, and today we receive the answers to that inquiry. That is what we call realizations. Okay, answers. Answers. Lessons, impressions, realizations. This is where we begin. Why is this called the grand activation principle in human life view? In human life, if we divide experiences into problems and lessons, then lessons, impressions, and realization can be correctly called lessons. If we go through adversity and problem in life, but after going through them, we gain no lessons, no impressions to life in life, and no realizations, then will that adversity or problem continue? Would like to repeat and ask again and have a little interaction with you. If someone goes through adversity, pain, or a problem in life, but gains no lessons for their life, no impressions to apply in the future, and no realizations. After that, adversity or problem, is it likely that the adversity or problem will continue? If there is no realization, no impressions, and no lessons, then the problem will still remains and continue. But why do problems come to human beings? When I miss why matter, they point it out and explain a simple concepts. They are oriented toward the light. So they said this: the natures of problem coming to human beings is for them to gain lessons, to have realizations. Yes, to have realizations so that they can mature. If someone through daily life experiences, through human interaction, and through learning gains lessons, impressions, and realization every single day, the more lessons, impressions, and realizations they gain, the more adversity will gradually fade away. If adversity does come, then through that adversity, we gain lessons, impressions, realizations so that it will not recur. And if we already had the lessons, impressions, and realizations beforehand, that adversity will not come at all. For example, someone is traveling in a river area and suddenly fall down from a narrow bamboo bridge into deep water. Do you see that a problem has horizons? Is this dangerous? Is it dangerous for those who cannot swim? But for someone who knows how to swim, it is not dangerous because they simply swim to the shores. If a person enriches their mentality and senses, the energies of joyfulness, tolerance, and appreciation, gratitude, can resentment come to them? Can anger and suffering arise? No. Yes. Because they are already prepared. Human beings need lesson to mature, not adversity to mature. Therefore, in the 21 session, instead of waiting for adversity, let's compile our lessons, impressions, realizations related to mentality, physical health, relationship, and finance. Each day, simply spend a few minutes asking, what lesson did I gain today? What impression did I have? What realization did I reach? Before concluding today's sharing, I would like to invite each person once again to return to themselves. If today there is only one thought, one perspective, one realization that helps you feel a little lighter, understand yourself a little more, or become a little more tolerant toward others, then this sharing session has truly been meaningful. I believe that when awareness is elevated, when wisdom is expanded, problems are no longer something to resist, but become teachers who come to help us grow. The best recipe is not somewhere far away, but begin with understanding yourself correctly and understanding others deeply so that each bird can live more gently in this life. I am deeply grateful for your presence, listening, and companionship today. May each of us always have enough awareness to choose the light, enough to tolerance to embrace what is not yet preferred, perfect, and enough love to create a peaceful life from within. Grateful to everyone and see you tomorrow. Okay, goodbye.